Hello, I'm Dave. Welcome to my channel. Now you might be doing some work with gas bottles, gas canisters, okay? You might be doing preparation for when the lights go out, and instead of having 6 half-empty canisters around the house, you think, well, how can I reduce the number of canisters? I wouldn't mind having 2 full canisters. Or maybe going on a camping trip. So for instance, I've got this little canister. This is my favourite canister, and it fits in my cooker nicely, but it's empty. This cost me £7. Why do I want to go and spend £7 on another canister when I've actually got other canisters? This one's half full, this is a bit fuller. Maybe I can get some of the gas out of here and get it into there. Or maybe I've got a canister like this lying around. How do I get the gas from there into this other canister? This cost £1.50. This was £7. Okay, so there's options. Now, before you start messing about with gas and gas canisters, it's always a good idea to know a little bit about gas. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the different gas canisters, how we can move the gas around, and 1 or 2 background ideas about gas. And maybe this isn't any good for you, because we're going to find out. So if this is something you'd like to learn about, stick around. Okay, so we've now moved outside for the next bit. Difficult to talk about the gas without mentioning cookers, so I'm going to talk about a couple of cookers. If you are going to be using one of these, okay, which is upside down. If you're going to be using one of these, okay, I'm sure we've all seen one of these before, okay. So one of those which uses this kind of canister, if you're using one of these, then you're very likely travelling in one of these, sleeping in one of these, in a location something along like the lines of this. Okay. Alternatively, if you are using a cooker, like this is with a screw-on attachment underneath, okay, if you're using one of these, then you're very likely using a gas canister similar to that. You're very likely travelling using these, sleeping in something like this, in a location something like this. Okay. So if you're going to start messing around with gas canisters, it's a good idea to understand a little bit about the gas that's in those canisters, okay? And you might find once you've got a little bit of knowledge, what I'm going to talk about during this video might not be good for you. Okay, you never know. But anyway, let's see. So a canister like this is butane. Okay, this particular one, this is nothing but butane is in this can. 220 grams. And it's not a particularly strong can. Okay, not much different to a Coke can really. The beauty of butane is it burns really hot. Okay, you get a lot of bang for your buck. The trouble is, it doesn't like the cold. So if you get down to 0 degrees centigrade, so 32 Fahrenheit if you're into Fahrenheit, it doesn't really want to change from the gas, from the liquid it's in at the moment into a gas that you're going to burn, okay? So when it gets cold, not so good. When you get to these, okay, this is a butane propane mix, okay? Now propane doesn't burn as hot or as well, but it does love to become a gas at much colder temperatures, okay? So, and it also does something wonderful. If you mix propane in with the butane, then it does a marvelous thing, because as well as the butane becoming a gas, it drags the propane with it, okay? So this mix will become a gas and therefore can be cooked with at a much lower temperature than butane on its own. So here's the thing though, right? If you're using one of these and one of these on that campsite, you're probably not in freezing conditions. okay, you're more likely to be where it's cold and horrible and miserable if you're up the mountain cooking on one of these. Okay, so it kind of works, you know. Butane is great. You're in your big tent next to your car, it's probably not going to be freezing, and even if it was super cold outside, you're probably going to do your cooking in your foyer of your tent anyway, where it's not so bad. All right, so if you were to go camping up the mountain and it's middle of winter, not really very good for you. Okay, you're going to lug it up the top of the hill and it doesn't work. Okay, you need something like this. So now we're going to look into what we can do with these canisters, because this is, you know, not very full. This is sort of half full, so I've got two half empty canisters. I don't want to be taking two canisters on a camping trip, I'll just take the one. So how do I get the gas from here into there? Okay, so I mentioned earlier I have a little cooker that fits nicely, a little canister that fits nicely inside one of my cookers. This is nearly empty, so what if I could get all that gas from there into there and just take that? That'll keep me going for a few days, especially if it's just me, you know, this is what I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we can get gas from there into there. Okay, right. Now for this you do need an adapter. Here we go, little adapter. Now you can buy these adapters from Amazon. Okay. Now if you're going to do this for just a couple of times for camping and you spend money on adapters, it's probably not really much use. You're probably going to spend more money, so you might as well just buy the new canister. Okay, if you're only going to do it a couple of times, because the money you spend on the adapter, well, that's the price of a canister. Okay, whereas if you're doing this for preparation purposes, for when the lights go out and you'll keep getting your options sorted, then this is a really good investment. Okay, so instead of having lots of half empty canisters, we're going to get a few full canisters. So here's how we do it. It's exactly the same fitting, and I'll bring it up to the camera. Okay, probably can't really see it. It's exactly the same sort of fitting that goes on top of your canister, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to screw it on top just like I'll be screwing a cooker on. Okay, now in fact I'm not going to use that one. So I just had a slight little emergency where the handle came off, so I've just been putting the handle back on. Okay, so back to the thing. I'm going to just put this on the top of a canister just like I'm screwing onto a cooker. Okay, nice and tight as you would normally. Okay, quick test. Yep, that's working. And this is going to go on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to get, let's use this one. This is nearly empty. Okay, and I'm going to screw that on the top. Just like you'd screw your cooker on the top. Okay, now you might be told, or you might hear, that you need to put the bottom one in the freezer. Now that makes sound chemical sense, because a cold gas is going to, if you like, draw the warmer gas into it. The cold gas is not going to want to escape, so it's going to go from warm to cold. But in actual fact, as you're going to discover now, we don't need to. So I'm just going to turn it on now. Now when you turn it on all the way, because as the gas moves through a small aperture there, it could freeze. So it could freeze in the open position. Okay, so now it's going to take about a minute, but I haven't got a minute, so I'm going to carry on. That's all you do. Now we'll unscrew the top again. Okay, that's definitely got more in it than it had before. It would be great if I had some scales. I'll think about that one next time. Okay, So that's how to get the gas from a half empty container into another container, so it's more practical for me. Right. But suppose I've only got this gas. Right. So, having taken the top off, you can get an adapter. So again, another adapter, like so. It comes like this, and that's what it is. So it's got the screw on top on one side, and it's got a special adapter to go on the top of this little bottle. And it's dead easy. I was thinking when I first did this it was going to be difficult, but no, it's dead obvious. You just align the little piece there with the little piece, and when you get one in your hand you can see what you're doing. You just line it in, push it down gently and turn it to one side. Okay, and it's on, done. Nothing coming out. Now I could put that in there by doing the same principle. I get my adapter, I just put it on there like I did before. Okay, just screw it on. Okay, screw it on so it's nice and tight. Quick test. Yeah, that's good, that's on. And then I can put this one on there like that, screw that on so it's nice and tight. And then I could just turn that on. I heard a little psst there. There was some gas will always escape. Leave that for a minute or two, and I haven't got a minute, so I'm going to fasten it back up. But that's all you do. Okay, and then to undo it, just make sure you undo it from the right place. Okay. Now, if you're heavy-handed as you're undoing these things, you're going to end up wrecking your threads. So just be careful, you know, on what you're doing. Support the weight because the threads are probably quite delicate. Okay, now to get it off, it's dead easy. You just turn it and it comes off. So easy, and that's still fine. So the only problem would be, up to now, that this is butane, doesn't like the cold, and I've just put it into there, which I'm going to take with me when I go camping. So I need to make sure that I'm not going camping in the winter with this, because I'll put butane in it. It won't work. Okay, so be sensible, use the right gas for what you're going to be doing. One more thing. Suppose I have one of these cookers which normally uses this kind of canister, but I don't have any left or it's empty, and I go round to my friend's house. Maybe there's a blackout or something, or maybe I just want to go camping, and I say, have you got any gas canisters? But he's only got these. Well, you know what, let's put the adapter on the top. Slight pause. There was a slight cut there while I went to get myself something I'm going to need in a moment. So here's my cooker that would normally have one of these canisters on it. Okay, so I'm not going to use one of these canisters. I'm going to use this one because that's what I've got my hands on. So I attach the attachment, turn it on. Yep, that's working. Oh, I mean, it's not working, it's not leaking. Okay, I get my adapter. Okay, so the adapter's already there. Screw that on the top. Should go on. Just going to check it out. It's a bit fiddly. Okay. Let's just move that a bit away. Alright, so moving on. So I've now got the attachment attached to the bottle. Okay. The little clicky starter on my cooker I've just discovered isn't working, so I'm going to use a lighter, just a good old-fashioned lighter. So all I've got to do now is I've got to turn it on and then light it. So turn it on. And then light it. Okay, took a bit of time, got a bit windy. Now, it's burning with a fairly clear flame. So you probably can't see that, so it's always a good idea to have something on hand just to test. If it is actually burning. Okay, yeah, it's actually working. Get off. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it off. Just a small point now. If you do use a butane cooker on your butane canister on your camping cooker, make sure this is standing upright. Okay, so we've got a slight problem, haven't we? The flame could be getting involved with the canister. So what we need to do, okay, if you're going to do this setup, okay, what you need to do, you got to think about, you need to either put the canister in some sort of a hole. Okay, so maybe dig a hole, or raise the cooker up onto something. Okay, I know it's not flat, but you get the idea. Okay, you need them level. Okay, so none of the flame gets involved with the top of the cooker, and you want to keep that away. Yeah. Okay. So there is one more thing that we can do. We can get another adapter. Okay. And what this is about, this is very similar to filling your refillable cigarette lighter. So I've got butane and an empty can. Okay. These cost £1.50. Okay, I bought 12 of these from the camping shop, okay, for something like £8. Yeah, so cheap, £7, expensive, 220 grams, 225 grams, so not much difference there. So here's all we have to do. We have to put a little adapter into the top of our can. And I gave it a little tiny press and I could feel a bit of gas came out because there's a bit of gas in it. So I know that's working. And just like any other gas refill, all you got to do, put that on the top and give it a press. Now yes, a bit came out. That's what happens when you fill gas. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Getting more in it, and if I wanted to repeat, make sure you press hard. Okay, now it takes a while. This is not quick, but you can see the point. There we are. That will do. Okay, and it's cold. That's cold. It tells me it's working. Okay, so that's definitely had more in it than it had before. So just like refilling up a reusable lighter. Thank you. So I think I've achieved my aim. We've had a little chat about what the gas types are and how it can be useful. So when I said it might not be useful for you, so if you're going to go camping up in the mountains in the winter, then probably notice this adaptation isn't really going to be any good for you. Okay. However, I hope you've learned something. Please subscribe, like, enjoy, tell your friends, whatever. Thank you.